One of the most athletically gifted, rim-shattering, and iconic scorers was at the peak of his powers. In the 1985-86 season, Dominique Wilkins proved to the entire sports world how special of a player he was. In the most competitive era of the NBA, he was battling with the top players for the MVP award, and he never came as close as he did this season. It was a year where he had so many iconic moments. It's long overdue that we relive the most underrated season of the decade. To truly appreciate what he accomplished, we must consider what transpired in the previous seasons. In his first 3 years with the Atlanta Hawks, the team was looking to build the right team around their new star player. They were in a rebuilding phase. It's normal to expect some bumps in the road before your young and promising prospect starts to learn how to win. However, it seemed like this team was going backwards. In the 1984-85 season, they won 34 games, 6 less than the previous year, and they missed the playoffs. But there were some encouraging signs. Dominique averaged 27.4 points per game, which was nearly a 6-point increase from the previous year. They knew they had a star. The only question was if he was good enough to carry a team by himself. That's when the coming out party of Dominique Wilkins officially began. He immediately started to impose his will, and he was dominating every single defense that he faced. There was no one who could stay in front of him. He had such an explosive first step. Once he got past you, it was up to the poor big man to stop this locomotive train. His only goal was to break the rim and your soul. The league had never seen a player dunk with such anger and ferociousness. To be honest, we haven't seen it since. The combination of his speed, leaping abilities, and power is what made him such an unstoppable force. When he was in the open court, the only thing you could do was duck for cover. That's when the Atlanta Hawks became must-see TV. And remember, they didn't have a lot of great offensive weapons. They weren't a super team like the Celtics or Lakers. They were there to see one player only, and he never disappointed. For those who were there to witness it, you will surely attest that he was easily one of the most popular players in a league full of stars. This was the beginning of Dominique Mania.
Dominique was a very, very special player because of his power.
The power that Dominique has. He has more power than any dunker that I've seen play this game.
Dominique is a prolific scorer. The way that he could jump twice, I think, is unprecedented. I think he was the quickest two-hop jumper of all time.
Dominique, probably the most difficult cover for small forwards in the NBA. And not just because of his athleticism, because he did what LeBron James does now, going downhill, but he did it in a half-court setting. So they would throw the ball to him on a half-court, and he would just run at you. And guys would just back up, and he could shoot the basketball, and then if you came out, he'd go by you and just dunk the basketball.
Everyone came to see his powerful finishes. The opposition was so scared of what he might do to them. They had no choice but to play for the drive. He knew this, and he became a much better outside shooter. He could become very streaky. Once he caught fire, there was nothing the opposition could do. He was also very skilled at scoring in the post. He had enough tools in his arsenal to beat you in so many different ways. During this era, you needed much more than athleticism to be considered a perennial scorer. He had a deep package, and this allowed him to win his first and only scoring title of his career. This is what he averaged for the season: 30.3 points on 47% shooting, 7.9 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 1.8 steals per game. He increased his output in every statistical category. His regular season averages are impressive, but he wasn't just feasting on the bottom feeders. He made it a point to showcase his talents against the best defensive teams. That season, the Boston Celtics finished first in defensive rating in opponents' field goal percentage, and there were 2 games where he scored over 40 points while shooting over 50% against them. Then there's what he did against the Washington Bullets, who finished 3rd in opponents' field goal percentage and 4th in defensive rating. Late in the season, he exploded for 46 points on 51% shooting. If he could have those kind of performances against them, imagine what he was capable of doing against the rest of the league. But nothing was bigger than what he did against the New Jersey Nets. This was the second to last game of the season, and he was looking to secure the scoring title. He ended the game with 57 points on 57% shooting, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. That is tied for his career high. It was performances like these where it seemed like he was the best individual player in the game. So much so that Larry Bird said before the All-Star break that Wilkins would have been the league's MVP if the vote had been taken there. When it was all said and done, he finished second in MVP voting behind Larry Legend. That means he finished higher than players like Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and Moses Malone. This was more than just hype. He had a very intriguing case. He was the only player that averaged over 30 points per game. He helped lead his team to 50 wins, which was a 16-game improvement. The strides that he took were so noteworthy that the Hawks went from a team that didn't make the playoffs to the 4th best record in the Eastern Conference. This was especially impressive when you consider that the Hawks didn't offer much scoring help. Their second leading scorer was Randy Whitman, and he averaged 12.9 points per game. That's a pretty big gap between their top 2 scorers, which explains why they were an average offensive team at best. Their biggest strength was defense. They ranked 6th in both opponents' points per game and defensive rating. Led by Kevin Willis and Tree Rollins, they provided a lot of toughness in the interior that helped hide some of Dominique's defensive weaknesses. That formula can only work if you have a truly dominant scorer. The numbers indicate that he was more than worthy of that title.
Now Nick's my teammate, and I was like, a dream come true. And but Nick, Doc Rivers, Tree Rollins, Eddie Johnson, all those guys, Sly Williams, all these guys, man. It's just, we were growing, we were young, we were really athletic. We had that energy that a team would need. And all we had to do was build chemistry, begin to understand each other's games, weaknesses and strengths. And we did that, and we started to flourish after the first 4 or 5 years.
The degree of difficulty of that season is what made everyone so impressed. He wasn't in the best situation to succeed, but he made it work. He said something interesting to the Seattle Times in 2022 about what it was like during that time. Atlanta has always appreciated me, which is important because I've often felt underappreciated. I never played with another superstar in their prime, and a lot of people never really gave me credit for what I've done. Not having another superstar to play with, I still competed on the highest level. And what I did, not playing with another superstar, people don't understand how hard that is, especially in the 80s in the East. I was double teamed every night. I would get Larry Bird one night, James Worthy another night, Larry Nance, Bernard King, or Julius Erving. It was just a super competitive time where you had real rivalries, but it made basketball for me so much fun to play. End of quote. And it was extremely fun for all of us to watch. Now he had to prove if he could carry his team in the playoffs. His first round opponent was the Detroit Pistons. They were the deeper team, and they were led by one of the greatest point guards of all time. This was going to be a big test, but the bad boy Pistons had no answer for Dominique. In Game 2, he had the greatest performance of his playoff career.
Got to help on. There he goes. No, exactly right.
Whips the ball to Dominique on the jump shot.
Need to help out inside. Got to get him.
Dominique, championship. He doesn't get any playing time, and they say he someday could be a player in the NBA. Bringing the time down, and only once in the NBA has a team come back.
He scored 50 points on 68% shooting, along with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Just for context, he is only one of 18 players to score over 50 points while shooting over 60% in the playoffs. The numbers are historic, but the impressive part was that his 19 field goals did not include a single dunk. That performance proved that he was a complete scorer. He was much more than a player that could dunk, which is a misconception that has unfortunately followed him all these years later. Then in Game 4, they were looking to eliminate the Pistons on the road. They were fighting for their lives, and the game went to double overtime. He made big shots throughout the fourth quarter and the 2 overtime periods that helped them advance to the next round. I'm telling you, the shots that he was making were just ridiculous, but this one play made my jaw drop.
Again, they post up on Wilkins. He takes it home. What a great offensive rebound by Dominique Wilkins.
Dude, like, who does this kind of stuff? This was the type of plays that he was doing every game. Thanks to his clutch play, they were able to advance to the second round. He deserves credit for the way he performed against a well-respected team. For the game, he recorded 38 points on 46% shooting and 8 rebounds. Their next opponent was the Boston Celtics. We're talking about the team that many consider the greatest ever. They're facing against Larry Bird, who was at his peak, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson, Robert Parrish, Bill Walton, Danny Ainge, and more. This was not going to be a fair fight. The Celtics overwhelmed the Hawks and made things extremely tough for Dominique. However, it should be noted that they were the only Eastern Conference opponent that beat them in the playoffs. In Game 4, they beat the Celtics by 12 points behind a strong performance by the human highlight film. He gave them 37 points on 44% shooting, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Although their season ended in the following game, this doesn't take away from what he accomplished. He overachieved in every sense of the word. He uplifted the franchise and the league. 40 years later, and his impact is still being felt today. But what about you all? What do you remember the most from this season? Do you agree that this was his best year of his career? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.